After the OG Fortnite rocket launch event, the community has been already going insane because Epic Games dropped that event. It worked out pretty well. I know that people were upset with the sidekicking and all that, but for the most part, it worked. People enjoyed it. People had that nostalgic experience. And then Epic Games drops another bomb on us. And this teaser over here, Superman returns to help the island August 2nd in this season's Super Showdown story event. And a lot of people are going crazy about this. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to react to all 6 seconds of it. I'm going to give my thoughts. And of course, we're going to take a look at what the Fortnite community thinks about it in general. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. So we'll watch a trailer together. There is no audio to this trailer, but there's not much to it, okay? So this is the trailer that Fortnite posts, and I like that it's so simple. It's just enough to get the Fortnite community talking. And obviously, what was the big thing that you saw here, right? It seems to be a Kraken. After all of these years, after all of the clickbait, after all of the people talking about like YouTubers scamming kids and all of that, we actually have the Kraken event. After Chapter 2 Season 3's flood, after speculating about Noah's Ark in Chapter 2 Season 1, talking about like, okay, if we get a flooded season, is the Kraken event actually going to be here? And I have said for what? Like a good 6 years now. I always thought it would be hilarious if Epic Games actually did make a Kraken event. And while I'm not completely sold that this is going to be massive or anything, I can't believe they're actually finally doing this 8 years later. If you guys aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, there used to be back in the day, I don't know what actually like spawned this event particularly. I don't know who started the rumor, but in the Chapter 1 days, there would be 10,000 channels live at a time going, the Kraken event's happening right now. And if you were to actually like click on that live stream, there'd be a big countdown. The countdown would never go to zero. It's oftentimes videos just replayed and then somebody behind the microphone going, all right, guys. All right, so what we have to do is we just have to look over here and then, you know, the Kraken event, the Kraken's going to come. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. And then you would have a lot of other people like, okay, something's going to happen at one of the hours at some point this week. So there'd be a big countdown up until the hour. It's like, all right, guys, is anything going to happen? Is the Kraken event coming? Is it now? Is it now? It might be the next hour. So a lot of kids would get scammed into watching people's live streams, and I always thought that would be funny if Epic Games actually did one day make a Kraken event, because after all of the talk, after all of the clickbait, it's finally here, the Kraken event. I am super excited for this. Now, unfortunately, I doubt that I will be able to catch it live. It's just at a bad time for me, and this is the problem with Epic Games, you know, drop an event so soon. But what I do love is that they give us a great event, they drop this event on us, the surprises never stop. And now, before we talk about this, I want you guys to keep something in mind, okay? Remember, like, when I think I remember some pretty cool YouTuber a few weeks ago, you know, talking about the idea about people might be losing interest at the beginning of summer, losing interest in Fortnite, Epic Games going on break. We're going to have all these conversations about Fortnite dying and how Fortnite's not the same. And Chapter 6, despite it being great so far, all of a sudden it's going to get dry. I seem to remember somebody talking about this, and I kind of also remember somebody, you know, somebody saying that Fortnite might be okay as it usually was. I don't know. Some guy might have mentioned that. I don't know. Like, it's just what Fortnite does. Fortnite comes back and Fortnite's back again. But I think I remember somebody mentioning that. It was probably a pretty cool YouTuber, I must say. But while I have no idea who that guy was, and I just want you to keep something in mind, truthfully, guys. Every single time, again, we have this seasonal cycle. And every single time in the summer, we have this seasonal cycle where you're bored of playing the new Fortnite season and you're just waiting for the next one, and everybody just jumps to the conclusion that the player counts are horrible and Fortnite's dying and Fortnite doesn't feel the same. Now, I did mention in a video that we just made that there is a conversation to be had about a lot of creators getting burnt out. That's not what I'm talking about, but so many people make Fortnite out to just be completely gone. It's going completely downhill 100%, and then Fortnite always comes back. Fortnite always gets the community talking. They always drop an event. Somehow, they get everybody talking again. I don't know how many times we have to go through this for it to just get into people's heads that Fortnite's going to be okay. And I know what you're going to say, but it's different this time. But it's different. It never is different. It never is, and it never will be. Fortnite will be okay. Fortnite will have bad seasons. Fortnite will have low moments, but it'll be okay. I don't know how many times that we need to have this type of conversation, guys. So I know I was joking around a little bit when I was just saying that, but truthfully, keep this in mind next time that you think about Fortnite having the lowest moment in history. All they have to do is snap their fingers, and then everybody's talking again. And it is nice to see the community very happy. Now, let's talk about the event, though. What do I think about the event? I've heard a lot of discussion online about whether or not this is a mini-season, because people are talking about, okay, we have Fortnite Super Showdown, a story event. Last time there was a story event, they titled it a narrative event. I have no idea if that's going to be different. I would imagine it's not going to be different, but I think that we should keep in mind that there's a possibility that this is a mini event. So when Epic Games didn't say that this is a full live event, story event might actually just mean, okay, this has something to do with the story. Every single event in Chapter 5, I believe every single event, most events in Chapter 5 were story events, and they were not big events. So I'm not going into this expecting like the greatest event of all time. I'm not going into this expecting something like they have just done with the Galactic Battle event. It's possible, okay? It's possible. I just think that with the conversations that we've been seeing online with this event, it seems to be a little bit of a topic of discussion where we're not exactly sure what's going to happen, but everybody's running with the idea that this is going to be a full-scale live event. I think it's important to just keep your expectations in check, and if it's a mini event, it can still be good. It can still progress a story. I love what Epic Games has been doing with the story. I love that we're actually going to get a Kraken. I love the way that they ended up teasing this. The eye's super cool. I don't know what to expect from this. The story has been really cool so far, and most importantly, it's really cool to see the community always coming together, always being happy, but it's not just about what I think, of course. I wanted to get a gauge on how the Fortnite community felt about this, so I ended up posting this over on X. Going to record a video on this in a couple hours. If you have any thoughts, drop them below and I will include some replies. Thank you for your time. Now, unfortunately, at the time of posting this, I did have to get replies a little bit quickly, so there was probably a bunch that I left out, but this also did hit the Explore page. We're going to be taking a look at replies to Fortnite, quote tweets, things from the Explore page, replies to me. The whole world is talking about this right now, so we have a lot to work with over here, okay? If you'd like to join the conversation, follow me over on X at Clen YouTube, where you can find the link tree or the direct link over to X in the description down below. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Let's get into what everybody had to say today. And, oh, I completely forgot that I wanted to talk about this. So, we gathered all of the replies, and then I saw Tedious post this, and I have not read it yet, but he made a huge thread, and I was like, perfect, we got to talk about this for the video, because he posted an entire thread about, I guess, what is, like, speculating about what's going to happen with the eyes, okay? So I wanted to include this. This is the only one that I have seen, but I haven't even read it, so depending on how you want to look at that, okay? So this is what he had to say. Fortnite's Super Showdown event includes a Kraken covered in eyes, but what do these eyes mean? Now, I didn't even notice that it was covered in eyes. I just looked at the one big eye, but it's okay. Let's continue on to what he had to say, okay? Fortnite has used eyes as symbols for a while to represent being watched and being manipulated. All the way back in Vibin, a hallway full of TVs and a graffiti TV eye could be found at the Rave Cave. Sorry for the jump cut, I just wanted to fix the imagery there. My camera was cutting off a little bit, but I do remember this, and it was a very, very interesting story, but we just didn't see much of it. These same symbols were seen again during Remix the Prelude and Chapter 2 Remix the season itself. I don't remember actually seeing that. I never really paid attention. I was just focused on not liking that event. Well, Shogun X Daigo, both have eyes as part of their designs. Shogun X, it's quite literally everywhere, and on Daigo, the eye symbol can be seen in his right hip. Okay. Dude, I've never actually noticed this. I've noticed this about Shogun, but I didn't notice this about Daigo, actually. Eye symbols can also be seen on the back bling of the skin Asmodeus. Asmodeus means King of Demons, and this name can actually be heard in Fortnite when listening closely to the Ruinous Maskin. Ah, man, I don't know if this has audio to it. Let's see. Oh, it does. And I kind of hear it, kind of don't, but I'm sure that's what it meant, okay? Let's continue on. Daigo's eyes are also bright cyan color, just like the spray paint and the Herald and the Cube Queen. How do you draw these conclusions, man? I didn't even pay attention to that. Dude, some of the people that come up with the Fortnite storyline theories, this is why I miss talking about the lore, because all of the theories that people come up with, one, they make so much sense, two, they're just exciting to talk about. A leaked music pack titled Eye of the Storm continues this eye symbolism, and additionally, in LEGO Expeditions, the Eye of the Storm can be seen throughout a Spirit Realm portal, and I gotta say, and I know I've talked about this before, but I really, really, really love that Epic Games is including OG and including LEGO within the storyline, and hopefully, like, I don't know how, I'm sure they could figure out a way, man, but it'd be cool to see, like, even Ballistic, because that is supposed to be, like, the early access next game that Fortnite wants to make. I think it'd be cool if they incorporated eventually every single metaverse mode into the storyline. Super cool, okay? The Storm and the Storm King himself also incorporate lots of spiral, eye-like designs. Spirals which led to the Eye of the Storm, just like what's happening above Demon's Domain. Yep, that makes sense, kind of like the Storm King over there. The portal at the center of Demon's Domain features a scroll next to it with an eye symbol at the top. But what is coming from this portal? In today's Super Showdown event trailer, a Kraken is revealed to be coming out of the portal at Demon's Domain. This Kraken looks to be covered in eyes, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is our manipulative dark presence. In the eyes, all the tentacles, all symbolic of watching constantly and being able to tamper with multiple things, being able to manipulate things to their liking, just like the DP did with Daigo. Hope Hope also sprayed a vision of the future of a tentacle wrapped around a spray can. No way, I missed that too. which would make a lot of sense if this is the Dark Presence. This would represent the Dark Presence. Getting a grasp of hope and potentially corrupting her. Dude! That is a wild theory that makes sense. Why haven't, you know what's funny is because we've probably talked about it so many times now. I was like, why didn't anybody talk about, like, a Kraken might be coming? Because it's been absolutely beat to death with the Fortnite community. I love what Charlie's doing right now, man. I personally don't see Hope corrupted, but the Dark Presence getting a hold of her is an interesting thing being teased. I should also mention that there are tentacles as part of the Storm and Save the World, and we know the Storm King and Daigo are working together. Dude, I didn't even note. Tedious, if you haven't been coming across this video, did you come up with this? Because whoever came up with this, it is genius. If Tedious came up with it, genius. I mean, I don't know if it was like a team of people or people bringing their own ideas together. Like, this is all genius, and I never like once looked at these and go, oh, cool, tentacles. I would have thought that was just part of the storm, but it's possible, right? All of these tentacles, the eyes, the demons, this could be really our Dark Presence finally revealed. Hope also speaks of a world between worlds in her vision. Foundation described the nothing as space beyond realities. So although the connection is clear, the last reality is no doubt linked with this as well. This is the Kraken, the Dark Presence, or is the Kraken Dark Presence? Will we lose any main characters in this Super Showdown event? That's everything that we have to figure out during the event on August 2nd. Dude, that is actually so hype. I can't, like, you know what's crazy about a lot of these storyline theories is I read a bunch of them and then I go, you know what, that makes a ton of sense. All of that connects right there. This could be it. And then sometimes Fortnite just throws us for a loop. That's why I love having a storyline for everybody to speculate, for everybody to talk about. Now, what worries me, and I don't know much about DC, guys. I don't know if Superman has had a common Kraken enemy in the comics or the movies. It worries me the fact that this is Super Showdown. I'm worried that Superman's just going to take it over. It's going to be something like a little bit of a Darth Sidious. I'm not doubting that it'll be good. I'm just worried that Epic might still be putting the collaborations first. Regardless, like I said, I'll be happy about it, but I think that there's a huge potential for Epic Games to miss out on this giant opportunity they have to do something like along the lines of what TD has said, but I love the idea of Hope getting corrupted. I love the idea of maybe losing any main characters. This story has been much darker. This story has been, you know, while I don't find it yet as interesting as the Donald Mustard story yet, but it is really coming into its own. It's building, and I could see myself, like, with what we've seen right now, I could see myself becoming one day just as interested in this storyline, if not more interested than Donald Mustard. Now, let's get into what everybody else had to say, okay? And I must apologize if, Ragnar, if you happen to come across this video, it is a bug on the internet right now with our mutuals. You can check. I do follow you back. I don't want to have that, like, God complex among other creators, okay? Anyways, Ragnar had this to say. Excited for this. I didn't expect another event. Looks promising as well. Also, this is the first original story event since Fractured, which is cool. I'm excited. Now, we still have questions about that, though. Like, I know it's like a first story event. I mean, like, it might just be Superman doing something. I don't know if that would make everybody happy or not. For me personally, I would still get hyped. I still think it'd be pretty cool to watch, but it doesn't really make me go, ooh, this is just going to be about the Dark Presence. I don't know if there's a Kraken in Superman's comics or anything like that. Regardless, it's another event. It's super cool. Chapter 5 Defender had this to say. This one image has sparked so much hype enjoying in the community. I have not seen this much excitement for an event since Chapter 3. Now, either this could be a Cthulhu or the Kraken or something worse. We all know everything is connected, even OG. The red rifts. We need Doom. Was there any red rifts around there? Was there any red rifts? I have no idea. If that's crazy, oh, are these little red butterflies? I don't know. Huh. Dude, could you imagine? I still think it'd be really cool to see a live event where it kind of like takes us through different realities and different metaverses. Like not like the collab like we saw back in chat at the end in Fractured, but I mean, like, we'll see what's going on in OG and then we'll come back. Like, I think that'd be pretty cool. Toon Spider said, the prophecy has finally been fulfilled. The Kraken is here. This was what most people have been talking about. And just a lot of people going, what? Another event? But like excitedly? This is so cool, man. But this is the type of stuff that you would see online. These are the types of thumbnails that you would constantly see. The Kraken event is actually here. And then those live streams, if you weren't part of Fortnite in the Chapter 1 days, those live streams pulled numbers, okay? Dub had this to say. Fortnite Chapter 6 continues to impress me in terms of how much quality content, gameplay, and story they can provide to us. And with the return of story events, we are so back. Chapter 6 has been phenomenal so far. I even really liked Galactic Battle. I understand why people wouldn't like full collaboration seasons. Totally get that. I understand. But for the most part, Chapter 6 has been a banger of a chapter. But all of a sudden, just a couple weeks ago, right? It's a coincidence, though. Huge coincidence that I just happened to be coming along in the summer update that if Fortnite just isn't the same, Fortnite's falling off again, okay? Rem had this to say. We have never been more back. This season has already been some of the most fun that I've had in years, and if they can pull off the epic live event, then I think Season 3 Super will go down as a unanimous all-timer. It's already one of my favorite seasons ever. Hope Season 4 keeps this up. Now, with everything that's happening in Season 3, and if you want to include the metaverse modes, like I'm personally someone very, very invested in Reload. I know a lot of people are really liking Blitz right now. If Battle Royale was not littered with bots, I know that I would say that this is an S tier season. I just know with the loot pool, all the guns feeling good, everything going on, 2 events caring about OG, all of those things coming together along with giving attention to the other modes that I personally really love, I would be agreeing with everybody going down as one of the greatest seasons of all time. I would say objectively, this is one of the best seasons. But for me personally, it's just not up there yet. I haven't enjoyed Battle Royale nearly as much as I have been able to because the bots just seem to be getting worse and worse. I mean, the bot issue in general, but it does seem like a lot of people are saying that this is a top five season of all time, and I love that everybody has been loving this season so much. Joseph Muhammad had this to say. I'm pretty excited for this. This is the first time since Fortnite has promoted a mini event, so it's probably bigger than just a mini live event. Season 3 has been pretty much trash in my opinion, so I'll say this season extra points for giving us another story event. How could you hate this season, man? How could you hate this season? I get where it's like, it's not really pulling me in, but Joseph, I personally don't understand how somebody can really, really hate this season. It seems to have like everything that people would want, okay? But of course, we all are different people. Sizzo had this to say. In my opinion, this event has a lot riding on it. To me, this feels like they're marketing this event as a full-scale live event and not as a mini-event. Although Superman will apparently be present during this event, this short trailer makes it seem like he is there to make the event more interesting and not as the driving force of the event like how this Death Star sabotage was relying fully on the Star Wars brand with the story as an afterthought. This feels like they flipped the script with this event as story will be the main focus and collab IPs will be its own side thing, which in my opinion is what all events should strive to be. If this was the case, then this will be the first full-scale event since Fracture where the story has been the primary focus of the event, which is why I feel like there is so much riding on this event being good. We know the next event after Season 4 will have something to do with The Simpsons, so I'm hoping this event gives us an interesting setup, and Season 4 also provides us a good indication on where Charlie plans on taking the story from Season 4 and beyond into Chapter 7. I think that's an excellent way to look at it, to be honest with you. I always love when Sizzo comments, man. He always has some pretty well thought out thoughts. And to be honest, I agree with him because it is being advertised as a story event, and if Superman is the driving force of this event, then we will know like kind of what they mean, and we know that it's still going to be like collab based. But we also have those surveys that just came out. If you guys haven't seen, Epic's been sending a lot of surveys to players to still like, hey, how do you feel about the story now compared to last season, and to see if it's like enough or if people are still dissatisfied with it. I like that they're doing this, and it's clear that they're putting a lot of effort into it. So even if this event isn't that great, I'm still going to kind of hang on to the story and be like, you know what, this is still very, very interesting to follow. I do agree with Sizzo absolutely about this will give us an indication on where events are moving forward. If Superman shows up, no big deal. But if they say, okay, we have a super, and by super, like the name of the season, a story live event. If they just make it all about collabs, then we'll know kind of where we sit with the storyline, and maybe only Charlie has so much control. But it's clear at this point that Charlie's still trying to tell a really good story. Now, we do have more opinions to take a look at. Let me stop you for just a second, guys. As you might know with these videos, I have been advertising my supporter creator code. I ask that if you do not have a code that you are currently using in the item shop, you please consider using my code Clen. I have been working as hard as I can on YouTube to provide a life for my family. I want to have my wife retire, have my kids be totally okay, and you guys have been giving me some breathing room to live each month. So I ask again that if you do not have a code that you are using in the item shop, please consider using my code Clen. Thank you to everybody who already uses it. Thank you to you for listening to this video. Whoever you might be, your time's valuable, so I appreciate you letting me yap through this. Let's continue on to the rest of the replies over here. Headhunter Boy had this to say. I did not expect them to go all out back-to-back with story events. We got one in Galactic Battle, and now we're getting another one this season. Also, the Myth of the Kraken event from Chapter 2 is actually happening in Chapter 6. Honestly, this shows what Charlie Wen can cook. I love that they're doing this. I thought this was well said, and that just reminded me of something else that I did want to mention. And it was in relation to what Sizzo just said about having, like, Superman be part of an event. I don't mind at all if Epic Games were to do the same thing that they did in Chapter 2 Season 2 and Chapter 2 Season 7. Well, I know there was a little bit of story element with the collab ones, but I think it'd be a healthy balance, and I'm not saying, well, don't get me wrong, it'd be great if we could get multiple events per season, but what they did in Chapter 2 Season 2 and Chapter 2 Season 7 was we had 2 live events, full-scale live events, one being a collab, one being storyline related. I'd be totally okay with that, even if you wanted to separate it between season and season, because I know that Epic Games at this point has to do a lot of collab-related events. It has to do a lot of, like, hey, here, showcase this big collaboration in some way. I would love it if they were to still just give us some events that's story related, and then a couple ones where maybe you could have Superman at the forefront, but it still is pulling the story a little bit. If there's a balance, I'd be okay with that. Right now, I'm very happy with the story, guys. Let's continue on to Sonic User. I'm honestly shocked. Chapter 6's story for me has been absolutely fantastic, pun intended, but regardless, this is absolutely huge. To go from Daigo fighting Shogun X to us infiltrating and destroying the Death Star, and now us going to the final battle against Daigo and his forces, that's a huge upgrade. It shows that Fortnite and Epic do care about the storyline again, and I'm so happy to see that they do care about it and are putting in their time and effort into it. Cannot wait to see what goes down August 2nd. It's going to be amazing. And I agree with that. It's all been great so far. The events have been great so far, and I really like that we can be confident in the story because Epic Games is showing us that they care about it right now. Marcus had this to say: "It's crazy to actually see Fortnite doing full story events again, not just mini ones. I hope this becomes a trend again and we don't just leave it behind this chapter." Now, I'm still not sold on the idea that it's going to be a full-scale live event. I have seen people saying otherwise, and Fortnite, sometimes technically that stuff matters. Like, and sorry if you can hear my notification. Last time it was narrative event, this time it's story event. I don't know if that's different. We'll see, but I am expecting a mini event with the potential for it just being a full-scale live event, okay? Zexel had this to say: "Guys, like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds to see that Kraken event happening right now. 2-minute timer reset again and again, but this time it might actually happen, guys. Oh my god, you wait. Oh my god, you guys, it's actually happening. The Kraken event is happening live right now." King Shadow had this to say: "Charlie Wen is cooking Chapter 6 so much that we are getting 2 full-length live events. First begins Star Wars, and now we're getting another one August 2nd, so it's amazing. It's going to be absolutely peak. Then the Rocket event, Fortnite OG, is absolutely amazing, and Fortnite is bringing back events." Dude, they don't get enough credit, too, for posting events like back-to-back weeks. That's actually insane that they're doing this. They're taking care of OG. They're taking care of BR. Yo, Fortnite, I have plans that day. Can we reschedule for another time? Guys, I know that this user is obviously joking, 100% okay, but you know what? There's another thing that I want you guys to keep in mind. You know how I was talking about at the beginning of this video? Just because you didn't watch this event, just because it bugged out for you, doesn't mean that it's the worst event of all time. Epic Games doesn't care anymore, and Fortnite's on its downhill slope, okay? Because we know that we're going to hear about that. There's going to be people that feel bad for missing out, so they're going to go on their hate trains, their hate campaigns, and everybody else is happy about the event. Well, we don't know if that's going to be the case, but when everybody else was watching the event, they're talking about the event just because somebody missed out on it, they're going to be like, "No, Epic Games, it just doesn't feel the same anymore." Obviously, it's not going to feel the same. You weren't there. And again, I know that this user is joking, but we're definitely going to be hearing about that stuff. The eyes really reminding me of the Nothing TV, since there is an eye on the tentacle and the Nothing sprite. Is the eyes like... I don't remember already what TDS ended up pointing to, but the eye looks a little bit similar, doesn't it? It's difficult to tell, honestly. Hang on. Can we see a little bit better through the trailer? No, that's a pretty good version. If we wanted to go back over to that picture. Yeah, kinda. I get it. But yeah, I hope so, man. If we can bring back the Nothing in the Last Reality, and that's what this Dark Presence is, that would be insane. I Play Fortnite said this: well, the clickbait YouTubers are right all along. The Kraken was just hiding for us. Yeah. Imagine that one guy that has had his live stream since Chapter 1 going on 10 years. Could you just imagine? And it's like, "Guys, it's happening right now." And then it's just mind blown because it's actually happening. That'd be crazy. But if you guys want to talk a little bit more about what's been going on in the Fortnite community, why don't you check out this reaction we just did to Pro Zero, talking about why people are leaving Fortnite Battle Royale. I'd love to have you guys over there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care.